reflections on Sunday? What do you feel like you did well, and what do you feel like you need to work on?
I felt that, we played a little timid for the first 45 minutes of the game. Stanford. I thought, they capitalized on a lot of mistakes that we made, and a team like that will definitely capitalize, and that's exactly what Stanford did. And it was the tide of two halves. Then the second half we make some adjustments, and the girls, play with a little bit more bravery, and we find one, and unfortunately we couldn't capitalize on the second one. But at the end of the day, Stanford's a Final Four team.
With a young group, I'm sure you're leaning on your veterans more. Lissy steps up and scores that goal at the end of the second half. How much of a lift did that give the younger players to see, okay, we score against Stanford, we can do this?
Yeah. I think, again, when I talk about inexperience versus experience, you can see where, an experienced player like Jess steps up. She, didn't miss a beat and was able to catch that keeper off her line and had a great finish. So I'm really leaning on that senior leadership and upperclassmen experience. And Jess, she was up for the challenge and she delivered, and it was a big moment for her. And I'm so happy for her because, she's somebody that is constantly working and wants to perform at that level.
You've been able to bring some younger players off the bench as well. How has Aaliyah Scott performed these first two games?
Yeah, Aaliyah is definitely a player that we feel is very effective in the game. She does a good job connecting and making sure that we have that possession-orientated flow in our attack, but also getting a little gritty in the defensive side of things. So I'm pleased where Aaliyah is, but her and I know that she's got a lot more to give to this program and has the ability to do more.
Similar setup this weekend, a home game on Friday, a tough road game on Sunday. What has been the focus in training this week?
Just, we have to get better. We understand that, it's a game about inches. It's the little things that make the big things happen, and we made little mistakes, but the big things, like a loss, happened. So we have been really focused on making sure that we're all in and focused at practice on those little things and make the big things happen for us Friday, Sunday.
What's High Point do well?
They're a team that, again, you give them any kind of window, you give them any kind of opportunity, they're going to hurt you. They have some very, very good experienced players and some very high-tempo players that we have to keep an eye on. And, in this game, there's such parity, and, you can have Stanford on your chest or High Point on your chest. It doesn't matter. We have to focus on West Virginia soccer.
Coach, putting the results aside from the weekend, how do you think your young team handled the Friday, Sunday turnaround?
I thought we did a pretty good job of it. Unfortunately, we needed to, step it up early on Sunday, and we weren't able to do that, and it was an earlier game. But I thought all in all with that quick turnaround, we did well. Again, not enough prep time for a team like Stanford. But I thought they handled everything well, and I think as a coaching staff, having such a young team, we probably could have done a better job preparing them for Stanford.
You mentioned last week that when you have tough opponents early on, you're going to see, some places where you're lacking or some places where you're kind of excelling. What are some of those areas that you're kind of lacking or excelling that you kind of noticed?
Not to give the whole country a scouting report, but, it's an experience. I think it's obvious, just it's the little things. It's just taking care of the ball in tight spaces, not giving square balls in the middle third of the field. These are things you can look up on the internet and easily find, and those are things that we know we can eliminate. It wasn't big things that hurt us on Sunday. And all the credit to Stanford, like I said, they're an incredible Final Four team, but I think if we eliminate our mistakes that we know we can eliminate, the score would have been different.
Lauren Segala, bringing her into this program, kind of what do you remember about the recruiting process for her and how she kind of came to West Virginia?
Yeah, we, as a matter of fact, I was the first one to see Lauren, and I remember very vividly, seeing her play in Florida. And, she was just a big presence, and, I thought she'd have a huge impact in this program. And, unfortunately, she had an ACL and she lost a year of development, but I really think Lauren is, coming on strong.
How has her role changed this year?
Obviously, we're looking to her to make sure that she's leading that young group up top, that an experienced group up top, that she's constantly coaching them up and impacting when the whistle blows.